SHA-2 is a set of cryptographic hash functions designed by the U.S. National Security Agency and published in 2001 by the NIST as a U.S. Federal Information Processing Standard. Cryptographic hash functions are a kind of algorithm or mathematical operation run on digital data, and by comparing the result of the hash to a known and expected hash value, a person can determine the data's authenticity. An example is running a hash on downloaded software and comparing the result to the developer's published hash result, to see if the software is genuine and safe to run. An added benefit of cryptographic hash functions is they are almost impossible to reverse engineer to reconstruct the original data. SHA stands for Secure Hash Algorithm. SHA-2 includes a significant number of changes from its predecessor, SHA-1. SHA-2 currently consists of a set of 6 hash functions with digests that are 224, 256, 384 or 512 bits. SHA-256 and SHA-512 are novel hash functions computed with 32-bit and 64-bit words, respectively. They use different shift amounts and additive constants, but their structures are otherwise virtually identical, differing only in the number of rounds. SHA-224 and SHA-384 are simply truncated versions of the first two, computed with different initial values. SHA-512 224 and SHA-512 256 are also truncated versions of SHA-512, but the initial values are generated using the method described in FIPS Pub 180-4. The SHA-2 family of algorithms are patented in US 6,829,355A. The United States has released the patent under a royalty-free license. In 2005, security flaws were identified in SHA-1, namely that a mathematical weakness might exist, indicating that a stronger hash function would be desirable. Although SHA-2 bears some similarity to the SHA-1 algorithm, these attacks have not been successfully extended to SHA-2. Currently, the best public attacks break primage resistance 52 rounds of SHA-256 or 57 rounds of SHA-512, and collision resistance for 46 rounds of SHA-256, as shown in the cryptanalysis and validation section below. Hash standard. With the publication of FIPS Pub 180-2, NIST added 3 additional hash functions in the SHA family. The algorithms are collectively known as SHA-2, named after their digest lengths, SHA-256, SHA-384, and SHA-512. The algorithms were first published in 2001 in the draft FIPS Pub 180-2, at which time public review and comments were accepted. In August 2002, FIPS Pub 180-2 became the new secure hash standard, replacing FIPS Pub 180-1, which was released in April 1995. The updated standard included the original SHA-1 algorithm, with updated technical notation consistent with that describing the inner workings of the SHA-2 family. In February 2004, a change notice was published for FIPS Pub 180-2, specifying an additional variant, SHA-224, defined to match the key length of 2-key triple DES. In October 2008, the standard was updated in FIPS Pub 180-3, including SHA-224 from the change notice, but otherwise making no fundamental changes to the standard. The primary motivation for updating the standard was relocating security information about the hash algorithms and recommendations for their use to special publications 800-107 and 800-57. Detailed test data and example message digests were also removed from the standard, and provided as separate documents. In January 2011, NIST published SP 800-131A, which specified a move from the current minimum security of 80 bits allowable for federal government use until the end of 2013, with 112-bit security being the minimum requirement current thereafter, and the recommended security level from the publication date. In March 2012, The standard was updated in FIPS Pub 180-4, adding the hash functions SHA-512-224 and SHA-512-256, and describing a method for generating initial values for truncated versions of SHA-512. Additionally, a restriction on padding the input data prior to hash calculation was removed, allowing hash data to be calculated simultaneously with content generation, such as a real-time video or audio feed. Padding the final data block must still occur prior to hash output. In July 2012, NIST revised SP800-57, which provides guidance for cryptographic key management. The publication disallows creation of digital signatures with a hash security lower than 112 bits after 2013. The previous revision from 2007 specified the cutoff to be the end of 2010. In August 2012, NIST revised SP800-107 in the same manner. The NIST hash function competition selected a new hash function, SHA-3, in 2012. The SHA-3 algorithm is not derived from SHA-2. Comparison of SHA functions, in the table below, internal state means the internal hash sum after each compression of a data block. In the bitewise operations column, ROT stands for rotate no carry, and SHR stands for write logical shift. All of these algorithms employ modular addition in some fashion except for SHA-3. The performance numbers above were for a single-threaded implementation on an AMD Opteron 8354 running at 2.2 GHz under Linux in 64-bit mode, and serve only as a rough point for general comparison. More detailed performance measurements on modern processor architectures are given in the table below. The performance numbers labeled x86 were running using 32-bit code on 64-bit processors, whereas the x86-64 numbers are native 64-bit code. While SHA-256 is designed for 32-bit calculations, it does benefit from code optimized for 64-bit processors. 32-bit implementations of SHA-512 are significantly slower than their 64-bit counterparts. Variants of both algorithms with different output sizes will perform similarly, since the message expansion and compression functions are identical, and only the initial hash values and output sizes are different. The best implementations of MD5 and SHA-1 perform between 4.5 and 6 cycles per byte on modern processors. Testing was performed by the University of Illinois at Chicago on their Hydra 8 system running in Intel Xeon E3-1275V2 at a clock speed of 3.5 GHz, and on their Hydra 9 system running in AMD A10-5800K at a clock speed of 3.8 GHz. The reference cycles per byte speeds above are the median performance of an algorithm digesting a 4096-byte message using the Supercop cryptographic benchmarking software. The MUBS performance is extrapolated from the CPU clock speed on a single core. Real-world performance will vary due to a variety of factors. Applications. The SHA-2 hash function is implemented in some widely used security applications and protocols, including TLS and SSL, PGP, SSH, SMIME, and IPsec. SHA-256 is used to authenticate Debian GNU Linux software packages and in the DKIM message signing standard. SHA-512 is part of a system to authenticate archival video from the International Criminal Tribunal of the Rwandan Genocide. SHA-256 and SHA-512 are proposed for use in DNSSEC. Unix and Linux vendors are moving to using 256 and 512-bit SHA-2 for secure password hashing. Several cryptocurrencies use SHA-2 as part of their proof-of-work scheme. The rise of ASIC SHA-2 accelerator chips has led to the use of script-based proof-of-work schemes. SHA-1 and SHA-2 are the secure hash algorithms required by law for use in certain U.S. government applications, including use within other cryptographic algorithms and protocols, for the protection of sensitive unclassified information. FIPS Pub 180-1 also encouraged adoption and use of SHA-1 by private and commercial organizations. SHA-1 is being retired for most government users. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology says, federal agencies should stop using SHA-1 for applications that require collision resistance as soon as practical, and must use the SHA-2 family of hash functions for these applications after 2010 inches. NIST's directive that U.S. government agencies must stop uses of SHA-1 after 2010 and the completion of SHA-3 may accelerate migration away from SHA-1. The SHA-2 functions are not as widely used as SHA-1, despite their better security. Reasons might include lack of support for SHA-2 on systems running Windows XP SP2 or older, or a lack of perceived urgency since SHA-1 collisions have not yet been found. Cryptanalysis and validation. For a hash function for which L is the number of bits in the message digest, finding a message that corresponds to a given message digest can always be done using a brute force search into L evaluations. This is called a primage attack and may or may not be practical depending on L and the particular computing environment. The second criterion, finding two different messages that produce the same message digest, known as a collision, requires on average only 2 L/2 evaluations using a birthday attack. Some of the applications that use cryptographic hashes, such as password storage, are only minimally affected by a collision attack. Constructing a password that works for a given account requires a primage attack, as well as access to the hash of the original password, which may or may not be trivial. Reversing password encryption is not made possible by the attacks. In the case of document signing, an attacker could not simply fake a signature from an existing document. The attacker would have to produce a pair of documents, one innocuous and one damaging, and get the private key holder to sign the innocuous document. There are practical circumstances in which this is possible. Until the end of 2008, it was possible to create forged SSL certificates using a MD5 collision. Increased interest in cryptographic hash analysis during the SHA-3 competition produced several new attacks on the SHA-2 family, the best of which are given in the table below. Only the collision attacks are of practical complexity. None of the attacks extend to the full round hash function. At FSE 2012, researchers at Sony gave a presentation suggesting pseudo-collision attacks could be extended to 52 rounds on SHA-256 and 57 rounds on SHA-512 by building upon the BitLeak pseudo-primage attack. Official validation. Implementations of all FIPS-approved security functions can be officially validated through the CMVP program, jointly run by the National Institute of Standards and Technology and the Communications Security Establishment. For informal verification, a package to generate a high number of test vectors is made available for download on the NIST site. The resulting verification, however, does not replace, in any way, the formal CMVP validation, which is required by law for certain applications. As of December 2013, there are over 1,300 validated implementations of SHA-256 and over 900 of SHA-512, with only 5 of them being capable of handling messages with a length in bits not a multiple of 8 while supporting both variants. Examples of SHA-2 variants, hash values of empty string. SHA-224,
0xD14A02BC94761-2BB28A234C415A2B01F828A62AC5B3E42F, SHA-256, 0xe3BOC42988FC1C149AFBF4C8996FB92427E41E4649. B934 car 495991 B7852 B855, SHA-384, 0x38 BO60A751 AC96384 CD9327 EB1 B1E36A21 FDB71114 BO7434 COCC7 BF63F6E1 DAR 274 EDIPFA 76 F65 FBD 51 AD2 F14898. B95B, SHA-512.
A5383327AF927D6A87D6A83F4A921D36C9C47D O D13C5D85F2B0FF8318D2877E2F683B931. A538327AF927 DAR3E, SHA-512/224, 0x6ODDO2806589E25DO60C19D3 AC86 CAB 87D6AODDDO5C333B84F4, SHA-512/256, 0x C672B8D1F56Z28 AB 87C3622. C511406-9B DD3AD7B8F9737498DOCO1S0967A. Even a small change in the message will result in a mostly different hash, due to the avalanche effect. For example, adding a period to the end of the sentence. SHA-224, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, 0x730E109BD7A8A32B1CB9D9A09 or 2325D24305870DDBCOC38 BAD 911525, SHA-224, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. 0x619 CBA8E8EO58268E9B8C519COA5C68F4FB653E8A3D8 or O4BB2C8CD4C. Pseudocode for the SHA-256 algorithm follows. Note the great increase in mixing between bits of the W1663 words compared to SHA-1. Note 1. All variables are 32-bit unsigned integers and addition is calculated modulo 232. Note 2, for each round, there is one round constant k, I, and one entry in the message schedule array w, I, 0 per mil currency IA per mil 63 currency. Note 3, the compression function uses 8 working variables, A through H. Note 4, big endian convention is used when expressing the constants in this pseudocode, and when parsing message block data from bytes to words. For example, the first word of the input message ABC after padding is 0x616266380. Initialize hash values. First 32 bits of the fractional parts of the square roots of the first 8 primes 219, HO, equals 0x6A09E667, H1, equals 0xBB67E85, H2, equals 0x3C6F372, H3, equals 0XA54FF53A, H4, equals 0x510E527F, H5, equals 0x9B05688C, H6, equals 0x1. F83D9AB, H7, equals 0x5BOCD19. Initialize array of round constants. First 32 bits of the fractional parts of the cube roots of the first 64 primes to 311, K, 063, equals 0x428A2F98, 0x71374491, 0xB5COFBCF, 0x9B5DB5, 0x3956C25B, 0x59F111F1, 0x923F82A4, 0XORB1C5. ed5, 0xD807or98, 0x12835B01, 0x243185B, 0x550C7DC3, 0x72B5D74, 0x80DEB1Fa, 0x9BDCO6A7, 0xC19BF174, 0xC49B69C1, 0xF4786, 0xOFC19DC6, 0x240CAR1CC, 0x2. DA92C6F, 0x4A7484 or 0x5CBOA9DC, 0x76F988DAR, 0x983E5152, 0ZA831C6060, 0xB00327C8, 0xBF597FC7, 0xC6E00BF3, 0xD5A79147, 0x06CAR6351, 0. X14292967, 0x27B70A85, 0x2E1B2138, 0x4D2C6DFC, 0x53380D13, 0x650A7354, 0x766AO-UB, 0x81C2C92E, 0x92722C85, 0ZA2BFE8A1, 0ZA81A664B, 0. XC24B8B70, 0XC76C51A3, 0XD192E819, 0XD69900624, 0XF40E3585, 0x106O70, 0x19A4C116, 0x1E376C08, 0x27487774C, 0x34BOBCB5, 0x391COCB3, 0x408. Or 0x5B9CCA4F, 0x682E6FF3, 0x748F82A, 0x78A5636F, 0x84C87814, 0x8CC70208, 0x90BEFFFA, 0ZA4506KEB, 0xBEF9A3F7, 0xC67178F2. Pre-processing, append the bit 1 to the message, append k bit 0, where k is the minimum number greater than or equal to 0 such that the resulting message, length is 448, append length of message, in bits, as 64-bit big-endian integer. Process the message in successive 512-bit chunks, break message into 512-bit chunks. For each chunk, create a 64-entry message schedule array W, 063, of 32-bit words. Copy chunk into first 16 words W, 015, of the message schedule array. Extend the first 16 words into the remaining 48 words W, 1663, of the message schedule array. For I from 16 to 63, SO, equals ZOR, S1, equals ZOR, W, I, equals W, I16, plus SO plus W, I7, plus S1. Initialize working variables to current hash value, A, equals HO, B, equals H1, C, equals H2, D, equals H3, E, equals H4, F, equals H5, G, equals H6, H, equals H7. Compression function main loop, for I from 0 to 63, S1, equals ZOR, CH, equals ZOR and G, temp1, equals H plus S1 plus CH plus K, I, plus W, I, SO, equals ZOR, Marge, equals ZOR, temp2, equals SO plus Marge. H, equals G, G, equals F, F, equals E, E, equals D plus temp1, D, equals C, C, equals B, B, equals A, equals temp1 plus temp2. Add the compressed chunk to the current hash value, HO, equals HO plus A, H1, equals H1 plus B, H2, equals H2 plus C, H3, equals H3 plus D, H4, equals H4 plus E, H5, equals H5 plus F, H6, equals H6 plus G, H7, equals H7 plus H. Produce the final hash value, digest equals hash, equals HO append H1 append H2 append H3 append H4 append H5 append H6 append H7. The computation of the CH and Marge values can be optimized the same way as described for SHA-1. SHA-224 is identical to SHA-256, except that, the initial hash values H0 through H7 are different, and, the output is constructed by omitting H7. SHA-2 24 initial hash values, the second 32 bits of the fractional parts of the square roots of the 9th through 16th primes 2353, H, 07, equals, 0xC1059 ed8, 0x367 CD507, 0x3070 DD17, 0xF70 E5939, 0xFFCOOB31, 0x68581511, 0x64F98 FAR7, 0xBEFA4 FAR4. SHA-512 is identical in structure to SHA-256, but, the message is broken into 10 24-bit chunks. The initial hash values and round constants are extended to 64 bits, there are 80 rounds instead of 64, the round constants are based on the first 80 primes to 409, the word size used for calculations is 64 bits long, the appended length of the message, in bits, is a 128-bit big-endian integer, and, the shift and rotate amounts used are different. SHA-512 initial hash values. H, 07, equals 0x6A09E667F3BCC908, 0xBB67E8584 Core 73B, 0x3C6F372 Fe94F82B, 0XA54FF53A5F1D36F1, 0x510E527 Fade682D1, 0x9B05688C2B3E6C1F, 0x1. F83D9ABFB41BD6B, 0x5BOCD19137E2179. SHA-512 round constants. K, 079, equals, 0x428A2F98D728A22, 0x7137449123F65CD, 0xB5COFBCFEC4D3B2F, 0xC9B5B581889DBBC, 0x3956C25BF348B538, 0x59F111F1B605D019, 0x923. F82A4F194F9B, 0Zorb1C5 Ed5 DAR608118, 0xD807 or 98A30304242, 0x128335B0145706FBE, 0x243185B4A4B28C, 0x550C7DC3D5FFB4E2, 0x72B5D74F27. B896F, 0x80Deb1 Fe3B1696B1, 0x9BDC06A725C71235, 0xC19BF174CF6926994, 0xC49B69C19F14AD2, 0xF47863884F25E3, 0xOFC19DC68B8CD5B5, 0x240CAR1CC77AC9. C65, 0x2-92C6F592B0275, 0x4A7484 or 6A6E483, 0x5CBOA9DCBD41FBD4, 0x76F988 DAR831153B5, 0x983E5152A66DFAB, 0XA831C66D2DB43210, 0. XB00327C898FB213F, 0xBF597FC7B4A4, 0xC6EOOBF33 DAR88FC2, 0xD5A7914793 or 725, 0x06 CARS 6351E0038226F, 0x1429296700E6E70, 0x27B70A8546. D22FFC, 0x2E1B21385C26C926, 0x4D2C6DFC5AC42ED, 0x53380D139D95B3DF, 0x650A7354 0x766AO AB3C77B2A8, 0x81C2C92E47 ADAI6, 0. X92722C8514823553B, 0 ZA2BFE8A14CF10364, 0 ZA81A664BBC4230001, 0xC24B8B70DOF89791, 0xC76C51A30654B30, 0xD192E819D6F5218, 0. XD69906245565A910, 0xF40E358557712020, 0x10607031 billion Barbadian dollars 8, 0x19A4C116B8D2DOC8, 0x1E376C0854141 AP53, 0x2748774CDF80EB99, 0x34BO. BCB5E19B48A8, 0x391COCB3C5C95A63, 0x4ED8 or 4E3418ACB, 0x5B9CCA4F7763E373, 0x682E6FF3D6B2B8A3, 0x748F82A5DEFB2FC, 0x78A5636F43172. F60, 0x84C87814A1FO AB72, 0x8CC702081A6439EC, 0x90BFFFA23631E28, 0XA4506SIB82BDE9, 0xBEF9A3F7B2C67915, 0xC67178F2E37252B, 0xCA273. SHA-26619C, 0xD186B8C721COC207, 0xSHA-7DD6CDEOAB1E, 0xF57D4F7V6Z178, 0x06F067 or 72176FBA, 0x0867DC5A2C898A6, 0x113F9804 Beef90 Die, 0x1B710. B35131C471B, 0x28DB77F523047D84, 0x32 Carb7B40C72493, 0x3C9EBOA15C9BEBC, 0x431D67C49C100D4C, 0x4CC5D4BECB3E42B6, 0x597F299CFC657E2. A. 0x5FCB6Fab3AD6BERC, 0x6C441984A4758817. SHA-512 summon sigma. SO equals ZOR S1 equals ZOR. SO equals ZOR S1 equals ZOR. SHA-384 is identical to SHA-512, except that the initial hash values H0 through H7 are different, and the output is constructed by omitting H6 and H7. SHA-384 initial hash values H07 equals 0xCBBB9D5DC1059ED8, 0x629A292A367CD507, 0x915901583070DD17, 0x152FECD8F70E5939, 0x673326667FFCOOB31. 0x8eb44A876858151, 0xDBOC2EO. D64F98FAR7, 0x47B5481 BFAR4FAR4. SHA-512 per ton is identical to SHA-512 except that, the initial hash values H0 through H7 are given by the SHA-512 per ton 4-generation function. The outputs is constructed by truncating the concatenation of H0 through H7 at T bits. T equal to 384 is not allowed, instead SHA-384 should be used as specified, and T values 224 and 256 are especially mentioned as approved. The SHA-512 per ton 4-generation function evaluates a modified SHA-512 on the ASCII string SHA-512 per ton, substituted with the decimal representation of T. The modified SHA-512 is the same as SHA-512 except its initial values H0 through H7 have each been XORed with the hexadecimal constant 0 ZA5A5A5A5A5A5A5A5. See also: comparison of cryptographic hash functions, digital time stamping, hash-based message authentication code or keyed hash, hashcash, International Association for Cryptologic Research, SHA-1. Some commands, script, notes. References. External links, descriptions of SHA-256, SHA-384, and SHA-512 from NIST. Specifications for a secure hash standard. A Euro draft for proposed SHS, secure hash standard. A Euro proposed SHS, CSRC cryptographic toolkit. A Euro official NIST site for the secure hash standard, FIPS 180-4, secure hash standard. A Euro current version of the secure hash standard, March 2012. Test vectors for SHA-256512 from the NESI project. Test vectors for SHA-1, SHA-2 from NIST site, NIST Cryptographic Hash Project. SHA-3 competition, RFC 3874, a 224-bit one-way hash function, SHA-224. RFC 6234, US Secure Hash Algorithms. SHA and SHA-based HMAC and HKDF. Contains sample C implementation.